Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing great and watching me at the moment. Once I'll see few people, then we'll start. Yes, whenever we go live, there's a notification that someone is live in the group. A question asked by Iraj. I think 3 people are watching us. Yeah. Okay, guys. I'll be taking questions and answers, and I'll be, answering them. As I just wanted to emphasize on talking more. So, what we are going to talk about today is, do we have to wait for other people to join in, or shall I start? I am just seeing 5 people who are watching me live. We got Anam, we got Sharon. Okay. Okay, 5 more minutes. Fatma Imam is watching. We have one more person who have joined us. Thanks, Fatma, for joining in. We have Nadia Bird. She just joined us. We have Afifa Parvez, Hina Hassan. Hi Anam, this session is going to be for 1 hour, so I hope you would catch it the session will be there. It won't be deleted. Hi Shazia. Okay guys, I think we should start it, and I'm so sorry. Okay, shall we start, Iraj? Okay, I was like, I would talk about how many of you, I just wanted to ask that how many of you recently got to know that one of your child might be with autism or might be with some kind of language or speech delay? Okay, Hannah? Who is a new mom who just recently got to know about their child might have autism or any kind of speech and language delay? Okay, Nadia. Okay, I just wanted to, I have been working with kids with autism, and many of you who doesn't know me, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Lubna Khawar, and I am a registered behavior technician, and I am Advanced Brain Technologies, the listening program provider. So basically, I am a auditory integration therapist, and then I am a certified Reiki healer, that I work with energies. I work with energies to balance them out, and I do take session of kids and the mothers as well. And the most important certification that I got is to be a mother of a child with autism, and he is 7 years old, and he's my inspiration to be in this field. Today, going live on this Facebook session was, I'm really grateful to Irish to providing me with this opportunity to go live and help so many people around. And what I just want to tell you guys is about that there are stages that we somehow does not see them. Like whenever, like when the child is born, आपका जब बच्चा पैदा होता है, you just have so many expectations. Okay, like we have a child and family, and we are expecting that, okay, I'll be having a son, or I'll be having a girl, and we also have so many expectations that, okay, she will be a doctor, or she will be an engineer, or some kind of expectations or hopes or dreams that you have about your child. And when you got to know that your child has autism, or any kind of language delay, or any kind of challenge that child is going through, that is devastating. That is really so much devastating. Just thinking about, looking at my beautiful child, I don't think so that he could have autism or she could have autism. So going through these phases is not easy for a mother, especially for a mother. So I just want, before we work with any child with language delay, before we work with any child, any person who has going through this language delays, and who just recently got diagnosed with autism, I would say that we need to just go in deeper, and we have to see that in order to help our kids, we have to take care of ourselves. And in order to help our kids, we have to understand the process of grief. And what is grief? Anybody just want to tell me what is grief? I just wanted it to be more interactive. Hello Shaida, welcome to the live Facebook session. She just joined us. Okay, in psychology terms, grief is when we actually lost someone, lost a loved one. Okay, and there are stages of grief. Okay, and every person anywhere in the world, no matter what age that person is, doesn't matter what that person is going through, every person in this life has to go to this process of grief in any form. Loss of a loved one, got to know that someone close relative or a child has a challenging disorder or is terminally ill. So these are the things that we got to know, and these sudden diagnosis of a child who looks beautifully above average handsome child and a beautiful girl, it's very hard to just accept it that, okay, my child can have autism or some kind of developmental delays. Okay, Shazia Nawaz is saying deep inside something is hurting, that's a grief. Yes, our, unresolved things, like we actually have to understand the process of grief in order to make peace with it, in order to go to the last stage of grief. Let's talk about the stages of grief. The first stage is of denial. Okay, let me share you guys a story, that something that I went through when I got to know that my son has autism. So let me give you a brief history about my son. When he was born with congenital club feet disorder, it's very rare in newborn babies, and I will just be talking so briefly about it because in the coming weeks I am releasing a documentary on my son's life, that what kind of struggles being in Pakistan I have faced with my son, and what were the phases, actually the damaging phases of my life, what were the lowest moments of my life, which I got to realize that I have to make this my field. If I want to help him, I have to empower myself with proper tools and knowledge. So coming back to that, when I got to know that my son has autism, I went in denial. Okay, and how I got to know about my son's diagnosis was I went to a few professionals, a psychiatrist, very renowned, and they just told me, your child is completely, mentally retarded. That was the term they used, and now we don't use this term. We just say a child with comorbid mental delays or mentally challenged child. So somehow his diagnosis was severe autism and complete mental retardation. As the moment I went to the psychiatrist and I just stepped inside the room, and there she told us, me and my husband, she said, we just have one meeting, just 15-minute sessions with her. And the next day when we went for knowing that, okay, what kind of diagnosis or what our child is going through, I used to be very worried about that he is not comprehending what I'm saying. He is not listening what I'm saying. So what actually happened when we got to meet her, the moment I entered, she said me, there are two news that she wanted to tell me. One is good and another is bad. So which news you wanted to hear first? There my husband said that, tell us about the bad news first. And she said, that your child is severely autistic and is completely mentally retarded, and this child will add no functional value in your life. And your child is not going to do these things in your life. Forget about your life. This child will not be able to manage himself, and this child may not get married, and this child may not develop like other typical kids, may not open, any tabs, may not eat from his, hands, may not be having functional skills that every human being needs to have in order to live a dignified life. And just knowing this, I actually started crying hysterically. I just felt like that, somebody just told me something. I actually felt that I got some hopelessness. Like that professional actually gave me hopelessness. And I would say that, I would not generalize this one specific incident of my son's diagnosis announcement to any mother, but mostly whenever I heard mothers, they always told me that everybody is giving hopelessness. And I just, being in that stage a few years ago, what actually happened, knowing this thing, I believed that this professional is like a god to me, and I would be listening and I would be following whatever this person will tell me in order to make my child feel good and to progress in life. And then what actually happened? She told me there's a good news as well. So my husband asked, what's the good news? And she said, the good news is, why don't you go for another child? And that was the moment I actually cried a lot. And then from that day, she said, why don't I come for my counseling sessions? Because right after that moment when I cried, she said, okay, she's going through depression. That was not depression, obviously. That was something that I was going through. And in that time, you need emotional validation. I always say that everybody talks about kids' improvement. Everybody talks about their child improvement. But I always emphasize, nobody talks about parents' mental health, which is the most important thing for us to know, because if we will not take care of ourselves, we cannot pour from this empty cup. We have to fill our cup in order to give it to others. So just be kind and just be supportive and just be loving to yourself before you extend it to others. Now, coming back to what actually happened, I went back home, and I don't know that how many days and how many nights and how many months I spent in denial. That was the first stage of grief. It's a psychology term, and everybody goes through this process of grief in a different way. What we as parents with autism or any kind of language delay or any kind of speech delay or any kind of other mental health issue, what we go through is the most devastating as well. And what actually happened, that I never knew that I was in a stage of denial, but yes, I knew that looking at my beautiful son, he could not have autism. Yes, you're exactly right, Afifa, Parvez. And I would say that I'm not generalizing this one incident to professionals or mental health providers, but yes, what I say is that there is a need to create awareness about autism. There is a need to create the management strategies that are child-centered. And I would say that we have to look up. Why? Because God has some ways to connect us with some people and to help us to heal. So talking about the first stage of grief is the denial. I was in denial. I cannot accept that my child could have autism. And what actually happened, that I stayed in the denial for a couple of months. And I never knew. I used to cry day and night. And I used to feel so hopeless, because this is something a professional told me, that autism is not curable, and it's just a condition that will stay for the rest of his life. And believe me, that shattered me. And I met so many parents and in my professional career, that whenever they come to me and whenever I have to tell them their child could have autism, I always manage to tell them in a way, in a more respectful way, that autism is a condition. It's not a disability. It's a child who looks at things differently. It's the child whose word is far more beautiful than us. I never in my life saw a child with autism who has a problem with our word. The all problem, all the anxiety or the anxiousness lies within ourselves. And we are just in the process of seeing our beliefs in our children. We are in a push and pressure that, okay, I just want this child to be here or here. We have so many expectations being a parent. And yes, there are expectations of parents who are very, hopeful about their kids, and they do have an optimum level of, improvement in their children. So coming back to the process of grief, there is a stage that is called denial. And in denial, we do not accept that this child could have autism. And what actually happened then after the denial? And always remember, we fluctuate between these stages. The first stage is of denial, okay? And the next stage is of anger and guilt. After your child is diagnosed, you are going through a denial phase that maybe mera bacha will come out of this. He looks amazingly beautiful. It's just a language delay. It's just that he will bloom out. And there is one more thing that I got to hear a lot from our parents, that whenever they go to a pediatrician, they just say that this is a boy and he will bloom out of this. You don't have to be worried about this. Please keep in mind, understand that we have to have a balanced approach about our kids' difficulties or challenges. We cannot just close our eyes, or we just not wait for him to bloom out of this condition. What I suggest is that we have to have, an approach about early intervention of our kids. The earlier, the sooner, it's the best for the parents, for the kids. And once the child is having functional skills in the later stage, it will be easy for the parents, it will be easy for the kids. So guys, I just wanted to ask, any of you who is watching me, we are having 10 people who are watching me. Anyone is in the stage of denial? See, we have to be so accepting of our emotions as well. We have to be so accepting of what we are going through. We have to love ourselves. We have to just embrace the sadness. We have to embrace the denial as well. Until and unless we don't embrace this denial, we won't be able to understand it. So it's okay to be in denial. And just tell me if any one of you is going through denial. Okay, Shahida. Irich, you're asking, and it is okay that you were and still is in denial. Are you asking me a question? Hi Abaya, how are you? It's nice to see you. Okay. I'm just trying to go to my laptop just to see your comments, because I just passed a few comments. Abaya, can you repeat your question, please? Okay, I can see it now. Thank you. Okay. Sorry, I did not introduce myself. No. Don't be sorry about anything. Um, um, Hi, Abaya, can you repeat your question? Actually, I just passed it in the comments. You know what, Rich? Grief process takes long to heal. We cannot have this feeling of overcoming the process of grief in just a week or in months. It takes few months, it might take a year, but yes, we fluctuate between these stages. Crying is very important, Erich. Like, crying is the most important. When you are in denial, there are people who do not cry. When you are in denial, you just say, okay, my child is fine, there's nothing wrong about him. There is actually nothing, whatever the doctor is saying. So this is amazing thing when you actually cry. Crying is an emotion, it releases your energy. So I actually, happen to cry 2 times in a week just to feel good about myself. I believe that no emotion in this world is having a negative feeling. Every emotion, whatever emotion is, it's the emotion of anger, guilt, or whatsoever, it actually helps us to accept so many things in our life. That's what we are talking about today. We will understand the process of grief, and I would let you guys to have hold of whatever you're feeling, to just understand whatever you're going through. And I would try to help anyone who is going through this, grief process. Okay, let's talk about the next stage. We were talking about the anger and guilt. Okay, and then what actually happens after you know that your child has autism? You go through denial, the first stage. Okay, Shahida, I don't know. Shahida, it's okay to go back in our life and to focus and to heal that moment. And I would try to help as much as I can. We will be having more sessions. Okay, Yasmin, thanks for writing in. Okay, let's talk about the stage of anger and guilt. What actually happened in the stage of anger and guilt? If I talk about myself, I thought I was so angry about myself. I thought I am the reason for my child's diagnosis. I thought that whatever he is going through is because of me. Maybe this was something that I could have done better. Maybe I could have eaten different food. Maybe I could have taken some certain measures. Maybe I could have done this. Maybe I have done things differently. So this may be. And then this guilt and anger resonates. What actually happens? This becomes a negative ball of energy, and you keep on, resonating. You keep on going here and there between the stages. And what actually happens is that in the stage of anger and guilt, you blame yourself and you make yourself responsible for your child condition. Okay, let me see there. Okay, Nadia Bhatt is saying. We actually, hi Raina. Nadia, we are actually, grief has to just heal. We cannot let this grief to just take away our hopes for our kids and especially for yourself. It takes a lot of time. There is no such criteria that grief will be settled in few months or years. But yes, we have to understand the process of grief. And after today's session, what I would say is that we have to analyze ourselves. We have to see, in order to heal, in order to help our kids 100%, we have to identify ourselves at what stage of grief we are, and we have to have this understanding of grief. Okay, and now let's talk about what actually happened, the guilt that it's because of me, and the anger, and then this blame game resonates between parents. It's very natural. It happens with every parent I actually met, that both husband and wife, they start having arguments. The husband says, this is because you did something not right, and the mother says, and no, this is something maybe you have not done right. Maybe this is in your family, maybe this condition was in your family. So some kind of argument is heating up into a family situation. And then what actually happens is that there are people who make you feel guilty more in your circle. We have to forgive them. We have to let go of whatever they said, because in order to heal, we have to let go of all the negative energies and of all the negative emotions. And how it helps a lot. And talking about these people who comment on your bad parenting, I myself experienced this thing. My own people that I think they will understand my situation, they actually judged me for having this child. They actually thought that this child have autism because I am not giving time to my child, because maybe I'm a bad parent. And what actually started happening, I actually started hitting myself for being responsible for his condition in his life. I cannot tell you that what kind of feelings I had. And even if I try to relate with everyone who is watching me, and even I try to relate with everyone who is watching me, and to understand what they have gone through, maybe I can relate to you guys like 30%, because I cannot emphasize enough on the dangers of comparison of grief process. We all are going through the same stages, but in a different way. We all have different things which are having in our lives. So we just have to love ourselves. We have to accept ourselves. We have to accept our kids' diagnosis. And we have to have so much faith in ourselves and in our kids that we can do so much for our kids. And I used to have this judgment from the people that a mother cannot be a good professional. And I would say you that I did not try, but yes, today I'm a mother and I am a professional, and I'm able to help so many parents, and I'm able to help so many kids on the spectrum and so many other challenges. And I try to create a balance in my life, and that is all possible when you give love to yourself first, and you just have an acceptance of your child. Okay. We have Irij is saying that she can totally relate to this. That why that I blamed myself for not eating any supplements during pregnancy and thought it could be the reason. Then after a while, learned to tell myself that it was meant by Allah. Yes, we are chosen. You know, I always say that. You know, I would say that I heard that औलाद और माल से आजमाइश है इंसान की, और अल्लाह ने हमें जो ये बच्चे दिए हैं, God has given us these beautiful kids. We are the guardians of our kids. He's the creator. He has, you know, He is going to take care of our kids. We are the guardians. We are just here to take care of themselves. And one more thing that I always say that is dunya mein, in this world, we have the most toughest exam, and in the other world we'll be having maybe no exam. So we just have to be so strong, and we have to have that faith in our kids and in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. Wealth and children are the test for us. Yes, surely they are. Yes, it is. You know, you are exactly right. And I also believe that if Allah has not given me my son, if I never knew that he could have autism, maybe I would be in some other field. And somehow He has chosen us to be ambassador of our kids, to be someone who can take care of our kids. And I would say that I would be having another session on the dangers of comparison, the dangers of comparing our kids to another kids, the dangers of comparing, having a comparison of your, suffering to another person's suffering. We all are going through some tough and challenging phases in our lives that we only know that how we are feeling. Even if we have someone who is 100% relating, but somehow there is so much, I'm sorry, I was just saying that the dangers of comparisons are so high. So we will talk about this thing some other day. So let's talk about the next stage. Thank you, Shahida, for writing in. Okay, in the stage of, anger and guilt, like, we are also like, how many of you feel embarrassed about your child? Embarrassed about their behaviors in front of, relatives in the malls and anywhere you're going. Amazing to see that we mothers are never embarrassed, and I would say that it's okay if there was a time when I felt embarrassed. I will be completely honest with you people. There was a time when I used to see that some the behaviors that he's having, like flapping the hands or making some sounds when he's excited, or even when he was having problem behaviors, he used to bang his head, he used to he was having a lot of behavioral problems. And people come to me and say to me that, did you never taught this child how to behave? They come to and they comment, okay, आपने इसको तमीज़ नहीं सिखाई, like, and such kind of comments that I heard, I experienced, and you won't believe that. I don't know, but somehow I always respond to them in a very gentle and in a very calming way by telling them that thank you for telling me that my child is like this, because your attitude actually lifted up so high, actually has lifted me up so high that I realized that I will be the ambassador of changing mindsets of people. I will be creating awareness about my son. What actually I did, I used to have some visiting cards on which it's written, you know, my child behavior caught your attention and your attitude caught mine. So somehow there was an information on that small visiting card that this is autism, these are the signs, and please be kind to, to whatever, this child is doing. So there was an information about autism. What I experienced as a mother, I realized that honestly, people are not aware about it. They does not know about autism much. So this is not their mistake as well. So somehow we all have to create that awareness about kids with autism. Somehow, okay, let's talk about the next stage. Okay, for the first stage is of denial, and the second stage is anger and guilt, and it creates a lot of frustration, anxiety, confusion, anger within ourselves, and guilt and whatnot. This stage is so devastating, and this stage is so much devastating. But I feel that once you go one stage ahead of denial, it's good that you're having emotion, you're feeling something, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling something. So this part of feeling is really, really important. Shahida is saying that sometimes twin sister feels awkward sometimes. Shahida, we will be talking about this in some other session someday, and this is very important to understand. Siblings are the most impacted individual in a family. So we somehow sometimes the kids with autism, like the siblings with autism, are going through anxiety and some unresolved things that sometimes we need to understand that this is very important. The kind of care that we are giving to our child with autism, the siblings are as much impacted as we are. Somehow they don't understand, or they does not know how to tell. And the next stage, let's talk about the next stage. The next stage, that is of bargaining. Okay, and what is bargaining, if anybody's tell me? Let's have the session a bit more interactive. I just want to know, you guys, like, what's bargaining? What do you think? What is bargaining? Okay, somebody is writing. Okay, okay. Yes. Yes, Irish, I can totally understand that people toughness made you into an iron mother. Now nothing touches me when even on the first thin layer of my skin. Amazing. It's so lovely to read the comments and to read what people are. It's amazing to be here, and thank you, Irish, for inviting me, for letting me to share my thoughts about it. It's very important. okay, the bargaining stages, when you go to professionals, okay, fine, your child is diagnosed with autism, now what next? And then you go to everyone, because औलाद एक ऐसी चीज़ है इंसान के लिए that your child is everything to you, and you go to every professional, whoever said that okay, come to us and I will help you, and you're going through everyone. You're going to a buzurg, a religious person, you're going to a doctor, you're going to a pediatrician, you're going to a nutritionist, you're going to some biomedical intervention specialist, you're going to a behavior therapist, you're going everywhere कि कहीं से मुझे ये कोई उम्मीद दे, somebody just tell me okay, this thing has a cure. And in the bargaining stage, that we actually, what we do is that we just try to reach out to others, like we are reaching out to professionals who actually make us feel good about our kids, who actually give us hope. And we struggle a lot in understanding that what actually has happened to our kids. And after the bargaining stage, that comes the depression stage. Yes, depression. Just imagine, the kind of things that I'm talking about, I went through all these stages. And I cannot tell you that I was just felt like a bouncing ball. I just felt like a bouncing ball between these stages. I just would like to focus on this, fluctuations that I felt, and it happened with everyone. Like all of a sudden, I'm on the stage of bargaining, and all of a sudden I go to the stage of denial again, and all of a sudden I go into that anger and guilt stage, and all of a sudden I go to that depression stage. How many of you ever felt these fluctuations in the process of grief, and to understand yourself that okay, sometimes I'm here and sometimes I'm here. Hi Farah Muhammad, thanks for joining in, and it's lovely to read your comments. And Afifa has written that to Shahida Siddiqui that my oldest son felt same about his younger son. As soon as I got just the comment just goes up. Okay, let me see. Okay, Abaya, thank you for telling me. And what I'm loving about today's session is that all the mothers who have joined in, they all are ready to understand the process of grief. They all are ready to love themselves first, and they all are ready to understand and to learn and to just accept whatever process they are going through. Yes, Irish. Hi, Basma. Oh my. Irish, I think that we have to talk about the stages of grief only today, because this is very, very important. Yes, Afifa, and this is how it's very important. No, it's okay. It's okay. We can have a. I will be taking extra time. Okay. Then what actually happens is that the depression, hidden depression, undiagnosed depression. You know, everybody is talking about the child. The mother is taking that child to different therapies. She has to create a balance. She has to cook as well. She has to drive as well. She has to create a balance in other kids as well. She has to be fit in the model of the perfect mom. And somewhere in this journey, I felt that I lost myself. I'm talking about myself. I felt that I have lost, like, where is me? Where is the me time? Do I have 5 minutes for myself where I can just take a cup of tea and just drink this cup of tea and just imagine the aroma coming out of the tea and just take a sip and just be happy about it? Why don't I just sit for 5 minutes and be with myself? This is very important to keep your sanity. This is very important for your child. I always say that your energy resonates. Whatever you feel, you attract. Whatever your beliefs are about your children, they resonate. The moment you start having hopeful beliefs, the moment you would realize your children are improving, that is 100% authentic magic potion. I'm telling you guys. Believe me, this works, and this works a lot, and this only works when you go to the stage of acceptance. Again, you know, understanding this process of grief is very difficult. It's very exhausting. And to fit yourself at one stage is again very exhausting. I cannot tell you guys enough, because I'm an energy healer. I work with energies, and I cannot tell you, the universe is feeling so amazing having you all people here on board. And you know, we all are going through the same pain, but in a different way. So we have to actually support each other. We have to let go of the comparison between every kid. And we have to actually go to the stage of acceptance. It's okay if you struggle and you feel that you're not able to go to the stage of acceptance. Please let me know, okay? And I would try to help and support as much as I can. So what is the stage of acceptance? See, the stage of acceptance does not mean that you have accepted your child having autism. This is an acceptance that, okay, my child has autism, let's make peace with it. Let's accept the way he is. We have to accept everything coming from that child. And acceptance is very hard. I have met parents, and when I counsel them, when I talk to them, when I go for home visits, because I do early intervention of the kids here in Lahore. So whenever I have a home visit, like I see the child, I see the home environment, I would say that the first and the foremost important thing is that I have to bring those parents to the stage of acceptance. And there is a mother I know, the husband is still in the stage of denial, but I would suggest that if one of the spouse is taking longer to accept, please take the lead and accept your child and move forward, and let go of that person if he's not having a, not letting go of the denial phase, because this is very important. You got to talk to people. You know, I knew that as a professional, this is your core duty. Thank you, Fatma, for joining in. So what I was saying, that acceptance is that you are not afraid of your child anymore about his diagnosis or about his condition. You are in a stage of peace and calm, and now when you have accepted your child, now you would be feeling that energy that will resonate back to your child, and that will give you energy to just move forward and help your child. And it's amazing to see the ladies are interacting. And again, I would say that these were the stages of grief, and we all have to understand the process. And again, I would say one thing, that let's talk briefly about the Sunrise program. What I always say, that Sunrise program is a child-centered program, and I would be telling you guys differently about it. Okay? Or I would say that okay, there's a beautiful quote. There is a beautiful quote that I just read from the Sunrise program. Amazing urge, denial, you know, anger, guilt, blaming, bargaining, then depression, and then acceptance. These are the stages of grief. If anybody wants to read about them, there's a lot of material on internet as well. But I would say, please do not read anything which comes on Google, because anything which comes on Google may not be authentic. Anybody could write anything. So even if you want to read something, please read up only researched material and only the articles that are written. Okay? And somebody said, loving and accepting someone for who they are today, not who they may be tomorrow, but they will achieve, or how much they grow. That is the backbone of all our relationships. It's no different for our children with autism. That is a quotation from the Sunrise program. And then they say, okay, I think Irish, we can have a session on Sunrise program some other day. How about it? Because I don't want to rush it. Ladies, just let's have a poll. How many of you want that we can have a session, you know, on the Sunrise program again? Because I just want you all to absorb what we talked today. I just want you all to understand the process of grief and just analyze yourself on what stage of grief you are, okay? And then let's try to be kind and loving to ourselves. And from now onwards, I just want you people to identify one thing that you just love doing. Maybe you love baking, maybe you love singing, maybe you love dancing, maybe you love painting, maybe you just like looking outside the window, maybe you just like talking on a phone with a friend, maybe you just like having a small cup of coffee and enjoy with yourselves. Just spend a bit of time with yourself first, okay? And I would say that you all are the amazing warrior moms. And I would say that it's so important, it's so important that you spend some time with yourself, so you can be with your child with all your energy and positivity. Again, I would say that you have to fill the cup. You have to fill the cup, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. You know, if you're offering someone else, I have seen mothers, I have seen parents I have been working with. They have been always giving and giving and giving and giving, and they never realized that in order to be a perfect wife, in order to be a perfect mother, in order to be able to do whatever is possible, they never knew that they are exhausted. They never accepted that they have actually, feeling so vulnerable sometimes. One thing I would like to say that being strong is important, but feeling weak is also important to understand our strength. And I would say that try to be kind and loving to yourself. Yes, Aisha Ahmed says that she loves to read Quran and it relaxes her a lot. Aisha, this is the most beautiful thing. I would say that find your comfort zone, where you will be with your child only. So I would be closing today, I would be signing out by saying that the only source of energy is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And yes, it is. I agree with you. And again, being yourself, just being yourself, just doing something. Do not give up on your dream. Just try to, give a bit. Just try to spend some time with yourself so that, you could have an energy for the next day. So I love you all. And it was an amazing session today. And I am really thankful to all the mothers who have joined me. And I'm thankful to Irij for inviting me and providing me these opportunities to be able to help and support. And thanks everyone. And at the end, if I had said or have done something which might have hurt somebody in any way, I apologize. And always my intention was not to hurt anyone. But if anywhere, any place, any word might have, make anybody feel wrong or something like that, my humble apologies. And I love you all, and I look forward to see all the moms smiling and happy. Okay? And bye-bye everyone. Hi Rishya, Varda Umar. Thank you everyone for watching me. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Afifa. It was an honor. Thanks, Hannah. Okay, Basma, Shaida. I have to, actually I have to take my son to a summer camp. That's why. Otherwise, I would have loved to be with you guys. Allah Hafiz, everyone. I love you all. And keep loving yourself and keep resonating love energy. And I want you all to be happy and excited because we understood the stages of grief, and inshallah, with the support of each other, we would be resolving all the stages and we'll be reaching to the stage of acceptance as well. And I want all of you, the mothers, to be very interactive in this group and to help each other. Okay? Allah Hafiz, everyone.